Hi, welcome to Overthinking Entrepreneur. I'm Megan, and I've had a successful online business for a few years now, and I think I overthought probably about 90% of my decisions along the way. Honestly, I just overthought whether I should say 90% or pretty much every decision in this intro. So if you find that relatable, you are definitely in the right place. In this podcast, I will help you get out of overthinking and into action so that your online business can finally start growing. Hi, this week I want to talk to you about what it takes to get lucky, but not even just lucky. Truly, this is a lot of what it takes to realistically be setting yourself up to have the chance to become successful in your business. And I think we need to talk about this because I have seen, and I've been on the wrong side of this mindset myself in the beginning of my business, to be completely honest with you. And that's a big part of why I want to talk to you about this, because I think a lot of you are probably stuck in the same place that I was. And that place is looking around at other people who maybe started at the same time as you, or maybe even started after you, or maybe there's not even anything necessarily related to the timing of when they started compared to you, but just looking at other people and comparing yourself to them and seeing them succeed in ways that you aren't. And remember, you're only seeing what they want you to see. You're not seeing the full picture. So I always try and give this disclaimer when we talk about comparing ourselves to other people, because all they are seeing is what you want them to see. Do you put every frustration and failure on social media or for the world to see? No, you don't, right? I do some of them because I pride myself on being transparent, but I'm not going to put every frustrating thing or every failure on social media. No one is, right? So remember, you're only seeing what they want you to see. But I know that inevitably you're going to compare yourself to some other people, and you may even find yourself in a place where you're looking at them and thinking, must be nice, must be nice, it's so much easier for them, they have blah blah blah, right? Oh, must be nice for them, they have this huge following so they can post and make sales and I can't. Must be nice because they have this, they have that, or they got so lucky, or they, and we can go into this place of almost resentment and like victimhood of, it's so much easier for everyone else and it's hard for me and it must be nice for them and they're so lucky and I'm not, and it's just unfair. And I'm not here to debate the full merit of that. I think we all are dealt a different hand in life, and some people do get seemingly luckier than others in some ways. But I think a lot of times in the online business world, we're looking at other people and thinking, man, they got lucky, must be nice. And I've even experienced this. Like I said, I've experienced this on both sides. I have been that person looking at other people and thinking, must be nice. I think I've shared this before. One of the biggest epiphanies that I really remember that I had in my business was an example that I just gave you. Looking at top leaders when I was still in the network marketing world, the company would put on a sale. I would make a post that was basically the same as them, sometimes even copy and paste it, because this was back in the day when I didn't really know any better. And I would see their post work and think, well, I'll just copy that. Sure. And so I would see, essentially, I had the same sale going on as them. We made roughly the same piece of social media content. They brought in a lot of sales. I got no sales. And where did I go mentally? Comparing, frustration, resentment. This isn't fair. Must be nice. They have this huge audience. They have all these people. It's so easy for them to make a post and make sales because they have all these people and I don't. Well, how do you think they got all those people? That was the epiphany that really was one of my first memorable kind of game-changing moments in my business of, wait a minute, they only have those people because they built it, because they worked really hard and built the people and the audience that they have right now. And I could do the same thing, but instead I'm sitting here not putting in the work. I haven't done what they did, but I'm resentful that I don't have their same results. And that's just not how it works, So I have been on that side. And then also when I had the opportunity where I was actually hired by a direct sales company for a few years to teach social media to their whole field. And it was amazing. And I had a few people who were doing similar things to me, doing similar videos to what I do or what I was doing at the time, who would kind of reach out and say, wow, how did you make that happen? And I could just tell from the things that they said that they were now in that place of, oh, must be nice, or oh, she just got lucky, or oh, resentful, that there was something that it was just luck that I had succeeded and they hadn't. And I have always been a person that wants to acknowledge that there is a bit of luck involved in most successful businesses. I just think there is. I think oftentimes it's a big part of it. But what I think we need to talk about that goes beyond that is, you're not going to get lucky if you're not putting yourself in the position, if you haven't done the things that it takes to get lucky, for that luck to actually happen and to actually change your life. And that's what I want to really focus on in this episode is especially, and even if you don't have this mindset, I think you're still going to get a lot out of this because I think it's three main areas that are really important to think about when you're trying to grow a business. But especially if you found yourself in that place of thinking that someone else is getting lucky and you're not, or resentful that someone else seems to be growing faster than you, I want you to really listen to this and reflect on if you're doing the right things that it takes. Because, like, if someone just came, if that same message that had come to me that opened up the conversation that led to me getting hired by the direct sales company, if they had gone to someone else, they may or may not have done the same thing with the opportunity that I did. That's just the reality of it, right? That there are here's an example. This is one that might be a little bit silly, but it's a very real example from my life. So I have a toddler. My son is 3, and we do screen time. We're not, I don't want to get too into screen time. We do it within reason. It's not, but anyway, I'm fine with him having some screen time. And so some of the things that we watch are YouTube creators. I'm picky about which ones he can watch, but I don't let him just have at it and watch whatever he wants. But we watch a few of the bigger YouTube names for my fellow toddler parents that might be out there. Miss Rachel, we are a big Danny Go household. My son loves Danny Go, and I actually like Danny Go too. I think the songs are really catchy. But anyway, there's been a few times where family members, my parents, my in-laws, whoever was around when we were watching these videos on YouTube, and inevitably someone makes a comment of, can you imagine, or must be nice, or you make these dumb videos and now they're millionaires. And it makes me very frustrated, and I rein it in. If we're at like a family event, I'm not gonna like freak out about it, but it makes me feel very frustrated because if they only knew how much hard work went into those creators being where they are now, they would never make those comments. They could never make those and I couldn't either. I'm not trying to attack anyone, but like, it's so easy to look at what someone else is doing and say must be nice, or can you imagine, or all you have to do is this, and then you're rich and successful. And it's like, that is not how it goes. And that's not what happened. If we look at these creators, first of all, do you know how to make those kind of videos? Do you know how to edit them? Do you know how to record them? Do you know what kind of equipment that you need? How much work is it going to take for you to figure all of that out? Now, okay, maybe you did record one and you edited it and it looks okay. Now, do you have the guts to put it out there? To promote it, to try and get people to watch it, to risk the fear of judgment and people laughing at you and people saying, look at this silly video, like all of these things add up. And then all of these creators have been creating for years. They didn't just put out 2 videos and hit the big time, right? There's so much work that goes into. Now, what we could say, and this is really kind of why I picked this example, is that there are hundreds, probably thousands of other creators who have been working just as hard and have not hit the big time success like those examples that I gave. That's where I think the luck factor does come in a bit. But I also think that when we really look at it, we can analyze what the successful people, like what was their edge? What was that spark they had? What did they do that was different? And sometimes it's something they're just like naturally born with or inherent to their personality. But sometimes it's because they really put in the work to figure out what they need to do. Like if you listen to I'm spacing on his last name now, but the guy behind Danny Go, his real name is Daniel. He's done interviews about growing on YouTube, and he's analyzing the algorithm, and he's looking at what videos succeed, and he's leaning into what is performing well. And like, there's a lot that goes into it. And so I think that it's kind of both. Sometimes there's that luck, there's that spark, there's that it factor, there's that little bit of thing, or there's right place, right time, right connection that happened, right? There can be these factors. But what I want you to understand is that just because someone gets lucky does not mean that they would turn that into a successful business. And that there's plenty of other people, sometimes even the people saying must be nice, oh, they got so lucky, who would not have been able to capitalize the same quote unquote lucky opportunity, right? Because they weren't in the position to handle it. They hadn't done the things that it takes. So anyway, I hope this is making sense to you. I hope this is clicking. But like I said, I do think that there can be an element of luck, but I think that you need to be doing all the right things that I'm about to talk to you about in order to actually get quote unquote lucky. So The first thing is that you have to be discoverable. Is it even possible for someone to find you to hand you the opportunity? What I mean by this is, are you putting yourself and your business out there? If you're too scared to be judged, if you're too frustrated that you're not getting the results that you want, and you're just shutting down and not doing anything and not showing up, I can tell you right now, you're not going to get lucky. No one's going to come to your house and knock on your door and say, hey, do you happen to have an online business that you're too scared to tell the world about? Boy, do I have the opportunity of a lifetime for you. Like, that is never going to happen, okay? You need to be discoverable in order to get discovered, right? When we hear about this, when we see these people that blew up from internet fame, or we see, I mean, we've even seen people like have a silly video that goes viral that turn that into a career, right? Like, we've seen people do this, but you have to be out there. You have to be findable. In order for someone to discover you and give you your big break, you have to be discoverable. So I really want you to ask yourself, are you putting yourself out there? Is it clear what you do? Step one of this is, if someone was to come to your website or your profile or whatever you're using is kind of like your home base, would it be clear to them what you do, who you help, what you have to sell, how they can contact you, how they could buy it, all of those things? If that's like the most basic, if that's not even in place, you're definitely not going to get lucky. But then, are you putting yourself out there outside of your little bubble? Your big break is probably not going to come from your friends and family, the people that you already know. It could. I'm not saying that it won't, but it's not likely. If you're hoping to find that one opportunity, that one thing that you can look back and say that was the catalyst for so much, you need to be putting yourself out there. You can't just be hiding in your private group that has 100 people because it feels comfortable and it feels scary to put yourself out there. And what if someone thinks you're annoying, or what if someone judges you? Well, then you're just, it's just, you just have to really decide what you actually want out of this business and make it happen. People are not going to, like I said, come to your house and ask if you have a business you're not sharing about because they want to give you a big break. You need to be putting it out there. You need to be, when we look at things, when we look at success stories from some of the people out there, and we hear how many times, how many times have people shopped their book around or their movie around, or how many times did they try and start this business? How many investors did they talk to try and make this happen? And then we look and say, wow, they got really lucky. A great example of this, Jamie Kern Lima. She has books, and she has a podcast, and she has other things. I haven't actually read any of them. I've actually just heard her interviewed on other people's podcasts. Now that I'm thinking about it, I tried to listen to hers. I don't know. It was so many ads. I don't know. I need to try it again. Anyway, she has a really great story about how she started It Cosmetics. And you could look at her and say, wow, she's been so lucky. Her life has been so amazing. She was like the first female CEO of L'Oreal. She sold her company for millions of dollars. She's wildly successful now. But if you go back and look at her backstory, she went to so many different people trying to get her company off the ground. She fought for it. She wanted it so hard. And eventually, she hit the right opportunity at the right time and, quote unquote, got lucky and took off, and things really exploded from there. But that didn't just happen. That happened because she tried and tried and tried and tried and kept going and put herself out there and put herself out there and put herself out there until eventually something worked. But if you've tried one thing and it didn't work, and then you got frustrated and said this is too hard and did nothing, and then you're waiting for your big break to just magically find you, it's not going to happen. You need to be putting yourself into the room where the person could meet you. You need to be putting yourself into that group where the right person could find you, putting yourself into those places where the opportunity could even find you, right? So that's the first one. The next one is, let's say that you were to get a big break. And I know I keep kind of referring back to luck, but again, we don't have to think about this as lucky. We could just think about this as just the regular old success that you're telling yourself that you want, the thing that you're saying you wish you had. Let's say that you wish that you could have 10 new customers this month. And on average, you get 0 to 1, and you're really hoping that you could get 10 new customers this month. That's awesome. Are you set up to handle that? If you all of a sudden got 10 orders tomorrow, would you be excited or would you panic? Would you say, I got this. I'm so excited. This is what I've been preparing for. I'm ready. Or would you freak out and say, oh my gosh, I don't know how to make 10 orders when I'm supposed to do, like, and you know what I mean? Because we have to really look at, are you in the position to handle all of this growth? So let's say, and this kind of goes back to some of that logistic stuff too. Like, let's say that you do happen to meet someone who's kind of interested in what you do. And maybe there's someone who is connected to an organization that could either give you a really great opportunity or could really expand your network, or like there's something here that you've met someone and like it could become amazing. Do you have the infrastructure in place? Do you have a website set up to take the orders? Do you have automated emails going out to confirm? And some of this depends on what you sell. Like you don't necessarily need every single one of these depending on your business, but do you have that? Or would you be sitting there tearing your hair out trying to send all these emails yourself? Do you have things in place where people can go and order and learn about what you do? Do you have a way to respond if someone were to come to you and say, "Hey, I'm interested in hiring you to speak, can you give me a sample of your speaking?" Do you have it? Like, do you have all of the things that it's going to take to take advantage of the opportunity that you're sitting to yourself saying that you want? If you are in network marketing and you wish that you had more parties on your calendar, if 10 people wanted to book tomorrow, could you handle that? Do you have the things set up? Are you ready? Are you ready to run these parties? You know what I mean? And some of it is like things you could get. Like, if you needed supplies, you might not have those on hand. It's fine to not keep those and go buy those. I'm not trying to act like you should have like a million things in your home at all times just in case. But I want you to really think through, like, could your business handle this increase in volume, this increase in orders, this increase in traffic, or whatever it may be that you're hoping to have happen? Do you have the things in place that could actually make this happen? And then the third thing is, could you handle it? You, the person behind the business, because it's a lot of pressure. If you get a big opportunity, like you guys, I was so grateful when I was hired by the network marketing company. I was also scared out of my mind. I was like, I have to teach a whole company. I don't know how to do that. What if I mess up? What if they don't like me? What if it goes badly? I had one of the very first conversations I had with one of the consultants in the company with someone reaching out. And I was so naive, I guess I thought she was being nice until I realized she was being very cruel to me and basically telling me she didn't think I was qualified and she wasn't going to listen to a word I said. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks. Cool. So it's really like people will say things. People, we often worry about people judging us when we put ourselves out there when we're not successful. Most of the time, people, they might make a comment of like, who does she think she is going after that? But like most of the time, I feel like the reality of people judging you hits when you succeed, not when you're not succeeding. Like think about any video ever on the internet and how mean people are in the comments. If you were to go viral tomorrow, could you handle that? Could your mental health handle that? Are you in a place? Have you worked through a lot of your kind of personal stuff and gotten to a place where your skin's a little bit thicker? Have you gotten to a place where you don't take every little thing personally? If you haven't, I would really encourage you to be working on your own self-growth, because I say all the time, your business will not outgrow you. And it's the same thing. Like how many people have we seen who, let's if they get lucky, get an amazing opportunity, and then crack under the pressure and crash and burn? And I am not saying that in a judgmental way whatsoever. I think the pressure that is put on people is insane. And I sometimes have noticed myself self-sabotaging because I don't want to get too big. The bigger you get, the more criticism you open yourself up to. It's hard. So I think you really need to think through, could you handle it? Could you handle the increased pressure? If all of a sudden you had 10 new customers that were all messaging you questions, like, you guys, people will message you things that you're like, why are you asking me this? Go look for the answer. Like, do they think I have time to answer this question that they could easily answer themselves? People will ask, like, your inbox will be a lot. It can feel heavy. It can feel overwhelming. It can feel like, oh my gosh, people need me all the time. I can't just breathe. I can't just take a break. And then, oh, I have to turn around. I have to do this. And then I also said I was going to launch this. And now I need to get this ready. And like, again, I'm not saying this to like scare you. It's just the reality of what a successful business can look like, depending on how, especially if you fall into it and you're not ready. And that's why I want you to really sit down and think about, like, what do I need to be working on? If I was handed everything that I say that I want tomorrow, could I handle it? Would I be ready for it? Would my business be ready for it? And would I, the person, be ready for it? And if not, we need to be taking the steps to get both of those answers to yes, because you're not going to get lucky until both of those answers are yes. Or you might, and you might squander the opportunity, and that might hurt even more, So I think that until you're actually ready for the things that you say that you want, you're not going to have them. Whether you believe that in a manifestation sense, or whether just more in a simply like, you're just not, even if you were to get it, you would lose it. Like it's just the reality that until you and your business are both ready for the things that you say that you want, you're not going to have them and keep them. Maybe that's how I should phrase it, because you're just not going to. You're going to freak out and crash and burn and self-sabotage. You're going to quit your business. You're going to, like it. So, and this is just if you're not ready. And again, there's always things that you can do. There's always ways you can reach out and ask for help. The point of this episode is not to discourage you from going after your dreams or make you think that you could not handle success. That is not what I want you to take away from this episode. You absolutely can do it, but I want you to be proactively working on becoming the version of you that can do it. It's easy to assume that one day you're just going to wake up. Like I remember thinking one day I would wake up and just feel like an adult and just feel differently and just want to wake up in the morning and want to clean my kitchen and want to whatever. I don't. I finally have accepted I'm never going to. That's just not going, like I'm not just going to wake up one day and be someone different unless I purposely grow myself into someone different. So I really hope this episode did not scare you. That is not my goal. It's more so to open your eyes to a trap that I see a lot of people keep themselves in and that I kept myself stuck in, where we're looking at other people and saying, must be nice, and they got so lucky, and I wish that could happen to me. But the reality is, if it were to happen to you, you wouldn't actually be ready for it. And I'm not saying that in a there's something wrong with you or they're better than you kind of way whatsoever. It's just that they have done the steps to put their business into the place where it can handle it. And they've also worked on themselves to get themselves into a position where they can handle it. Both are very important. There's so many highs that come with a successful business. It's awesome. It's so much fun. You get to do what you love. Like it's such a great feeling. But at the same time, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibilities that come with it. And if you're someone who only works when you feel like it, that doesn't really translate to someone who's capable of running a successful business, right? And so you might even be holding yourself subconsciously back because you don't see yourself as someone capable of success. And so the more that you work on becoming someone that you can believe can be successful, the more likely you are to be successful. You see how that works? When you deep down don't think you're going to be successful no matter what, you're probably not showing up for your business to your fullest capacity. You're probably not really going for it. You're probably blowing things off. You're probably, because you're like, what does it matter? Deep down, even if I really went for it, I don't believe I could succeed. So when you work on shifting that belief and into becoming someone that you believe could succeed, you'll be amazed at how everything starts to change. But I just really want you to start taking those actions and work on, and again, I'm not saying completely change who you are. That's just not going to happen. That's not realistic. I'm never going to be the person that wakes up at 6 a.m. to journal, write my to-do list, and knock everything out. I am the person that drags myself out of bed at 9 a.m. I do work out. I do at least do that part. But like, it's just, like there's certain things about me that are not changeable. And so it's about embracing who you are, but then saying, how can I grow into the version of me that can handle what I want? How do I find more of that discipline in myself? How do I work on not taking things so personally? How do I work on letting go of the fear of judgment? How do I work on all those things that you could see are going to be kind of like your rate limiting steps, your things that slow you down as you're trying to grow? You need to work on them now instead of when they come up. And you'll still be working on them when they come up too. It's an ongoing process. I hate it. I wish it wasn't. It just is. But anyway, I just wanted to share this. I hope it's given you some perspective, because I know so many of us have that thought of, other people are lucky, or I wish I could just get lucky, or why does this have to be so hard, or why can't I just XYZ? And I want you to look on the flip side of that and say, okay, if I were to be handed that thing tomorrow, could I handle it? And if not, that shows you where the work is. That shows you where you should be working on right now. So I hope you found this helpful, and I will talk to you soon. I hope this episode inspires you to go take action on something you have been overthinking. As much as I wish you could, you cannot think your way to success, so promise me you're going to go take some action today. Head over to overthinkingentrepreneur.com to find all the cool stuff I've made for you over the years, like my free guide to getting more social media engagement and my Facebook group, Dynamite Entrepreneurs, which has a free course on social media basics.